How can you tell if something's poorly designed? Well, if you don't know where to look and if you don't know what matters. That's what bad design looks like. It's not offering us a clear target or a clear message or a clear portal. That's the first thing to know when we're putting together our design work. Where are people supposed to look and what matters? To my way of thinking, this is about as good as it gets. There is no question in this movie poster where to look. It's absolutely gorgeous. That's providing a target for your audience. This is a fairly over-the-top example, but it's really good. So, best design practices number 9, your audience should be given an obvious portal into your composition. Think of it this way. When you're designing something, especially for public consumption, you're going on a fishing expedition. You're dangling a lure out there in front of your audience. You want them to bite. The problem is there are a lot of lures hanging down there. You got to make sure yours stands out. And even more problematic is if your own design has multiple lures, where do they go first? You got to hook them before you can communicate. That's the way design works. If I don't know where my audience is supposed to put their attention, how will they know? Let's say you're doing a flyer. William Cuskin is coming to talk about his new book, I Love the Smell of Asphalt in the Morning. What matters on this flyer? And believe it or not, I've helped students with flyers that look exactly like this. What matters the most? Is it the periodicals room? Is it that it's presented by the Explorers Club or that refreshments will be served? Is it William Cuskin? Or is it I love the smell of asphalt in the morning? Well, if they're all equally weighted, we don't know where the lure is. We got to make sure that our audience knows exactly what the lure is. We hook them, then we communicate. So you don't want to compete with yourself in any one design. That's why having a clear target and a clear portal is always extremely important. This is a piece I did years ago for the University of Colorado's communications department. It was a web-based CD. You pop it in your computer and it tells you how to build a website at CU. It's an antique now. This was ancient history. This thing's a failure. And the reason it's a failure is because everything in this design is equally weighted. It all comes at you with the same force. That's not what we want in design. It's like looking into a bowl of goulash. What matters here? Everything's floating to the surface. This was my redo, which is really admittedly still pretty ugly, but at least now the important things come to the front and the less important things recede. We always have to remember that. Important things to the front, lesser things to the back. So if you're doing presentation slides and it's not obvious where the important information is on any particular slide, you're failing as a designer. You need to frame that important information. You need to move other things back, either with scale, with intensity, with color, with sublimation. Make certain they step backward and the important thing comes to the front. Now, it's obvious what these slides are saying. And again, I talked earlier about the importance of white space. Making white space support your use of targets and portals, absolutely critical.